I remember that evening vividly. It was supposed to be a casual gathering at our friend's house, a small get-together, nothing fancy. I had spent the day helping with preparations, bringing snacks, setting up chairs, and even arranging a small playlist I thought everyone would enjoy. I wanted it to be pleasant, cheerful, normal. Then she arrived. My wife, Tara, entered with her usual air of superiority, scanning the room with that dismissive smile I had grown to hate over the years. I greeted her warmly, as I always did, but she barely acknowledged me, brushing past to chat with our friends. I laughed it off, thinking perhaps she was just in a playful mood. We sat down for drinks, and for a few minutes, everything seemed fine. Then the conversation turned to finances, our shared finances, to be precise. She began criticizing decisions I had made regarding savings and investments. Not just criticism, she mocked me openly. "You're so stupid," she said, loud enough for several people to hear. Her tone was sharp, condescending, almost gleeful. I froze. My friends glanced at me, surprised. Before I could respond, she grabbed a glass from the table and threw it in my direction. It shattered against the wall, shards scattering at our feet. One piece nicked my hand slightly, but it wasn't the physical pain that hurt the most. It was the humiliation. I felt every eye in the room on me, waiting for my reaction. Some looked shocked, some uncomfortable, and a few, I realized, were already forming judgments. Most people would have yelled, most people would have argued or stormed out, but I didn't. Instead, I took a deep breath, collected myself, and smiled. I waited. I waited for her to think she had the upper hand, for her to bask in her temporary triumph. She didn't know that I had been keeping records for months, texts, emails, receipts, even photos that hinted at her unfaithfulness. I had suspected she was cheating for some time, and while this outburst was shocking, it gave me clarity. The next few days were quiet. I didn't confront her directly. I started arranging things carefully. First, I separated our finances. I made sure she no longer had access to our joint accounts. Then, I began quietly backing up all evidence I had collected over months, organizing it into a clear, irrefutable record of her infidelities and manipulation. I also reached out to a few trusted friends, discreetly, not to gossip, but to ensure that if things escalated, I had witnesses and support. Then came the final act. I invited her to dinner at our house, claiming it was a private celebration of her birthday. I spent the entire day preparing, setting a table, candles, everything. She arrived, expecting a night of charm and submission. I handed her a small envelope. Inside, meticulously arranged, were photos, screenshots, and records proving her ongoing affair, her manipulative behaviors, and her abusive outburst at the gathering. I looked at her calmly and said, "This is everything I've learned over the past months. I thought we could work on us, but apparently you prefer lies and aggression." Her face drained of color. She tried to snatch the envelope, but I pulled it back. She stammered, tried to justify herself, but every lie was already documented. Then I delivered the final line, softly but firmly. "I think it's best if you leave, permanently." She collapsed, literally and figuratively. The weight of exposure, combined with the humiliation she had tried to impose on me, hit her hard. She cried, begged, tried to charm, but it was too late. Within weeks, I filed for divorce. I had legal backing, evidence, and witnesses. She could no longer hide behind charm, aggression, or deception. The fallout was swift. Mutual friends, previously hesitant, had seen the truth and quietly distanced themselves. Her social power evaporated. I moved out shortly after, securing my life, my finances, and my dignity. What I realized in the aftermath is that revenge doesn't always require rage. Sometimes patience, planning, and precision deliver the most devastating results. The glass she threw that night, it shattered more than just ceramic. It shattered her illusion of control, and ultimately her hold over me. And I walked away calm, collected, and free.